On my watch. So we will call the meeting to order. And we'll start out with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I would like to take just a moment of reflection. If you're the praying kind, if you could say a little prayer for our citizens and hope that everyone is able to clean up from the nasty storm that we'll talk more about in a little bit. We'll just take a moment of silence, please. Thank you. All right, next is roll call.
Supervisor Godey.
Here.
Clerk Bracco here. Treasurer Davis. Here. Trustee McKay.
Here.
Trustee Menke.
Here.
Trustee Blankenship. Or yeah. Blanchard. Trustee Hoskins. Here. 7 here. We have a quorum.
All right. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda or considerations of additions or deletions. Motion?
Make a motion.
There's a second?
Second.
Any discussions? Any changes?
Oh, yes. I'd like to add a discussion on there about township vehicle.
Discussion item?
Yes, please.
Okay. Under number 11. Add an H. How's that?
Yes, please.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's added.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next is the supervisor report. And I will just say that this is the second month in a row that we did not receive a recognition nomination. We really appreciate recognizing our citizens that do good work. And if you have anyone in mind, please do so. We have some out on the table. We also have these forms on our website, and you're welcome to email any of us on the board if you have someone you would like to nominate for this recognition, and I hope to have some in July. June is, of course, the start of summer, which we're excited about. It's also Pride Month, and coming up, I believe this weekend is Father's Day. That's right. Happy Father's Day to all of our dads here. The next thing that I had written down is next Thursday is Juneteenth. For many people, this is a very important holiday, and our office will be closed to celebrate Juneteenth and its meaning. So just as an FYI, next week, the office will be closed Thursday and Friday. I'm going to read a proclamation that was just handed to me or placed on my table here from Derek King, the chair of the Board of Commissioners for Calhoun County. This is a proclamation in recognition to Kalamazoo County Consolidated Dispatch, Bedford Township, and Penfield Township firefighters. Whereas on May 15th, 2015, at approximately 11 p.m., Northwest Calhoun County was hit with a devastating storm. 2 tornadoes were ultimately confirmed to have struck the area, and another was hit with severe straight-line winds as a result of tornadoes. And whereas in the first 4 hours of this storm, Calhoun County Consolidated Dispatch received 818 calls for service, 24 times more than normal for this time period. Over the first 12 hours, dispatch received 1,148 calls for service, 8 times more than the normal volume. And whereas while many areas, including parts of the city of Battle Creek and city of Springfield, received significant damage, the 2 hardest hit in Calhoun County were Bedford and Penfield Townships. And whereas on the day after the storm, more than 90% of the citizens of Bedford Township were without power, some for days afterwards. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Calhoun County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim recognition to the dispatchers and firefighters of Bedford and Penfield Township for their service to the people and to the communities they serve. That was dated June 5th of 2025. And I say that our firefighters deserve a big round of applause. The next thing that I'm going to read this to you. This is dated June 9th. To the Board of the Charter Township of Bedford, I, Larry Kokensparger, the current fire chief of said township and having served on the fire department for 58 years, during which I had the privilege to serve under 8 or 9 supervisors, will be retiring as of June 30th, 2025. Having served as the chief for the last 22 years, I believe it is time for me to step down and give someone else the opportunity to serve in that position, providing the people of Bedford Township with the same quality service and guiding the department to fulfill its stated responsibility to serve and protect the people within its jurisdiction. There are many fine younger men and women serving this department, so that I am confident they will provide the leadership needed to care for the lives and property within this township. I would like to thank the board and the people of Bedford Township for trusting in me and the men and women on our fire department to come to the aid of those with fire, medical, and motor accident related emergencies. I thank you all for your past support and offer my prayers for the continued success of all those affiliated with the future efforts of the Bedford Township Fire Department. Cordially, Larry Kokensparger, Fire Chief. And I think that we owe Larry a big round of applause, and maybe it's something his face. While we appreciate everything that you have done, Chief, and I know you're going to speak here in a few minutes as we go down the agenda with the fire report, but we all want to thank you a tremendous amount. I mean, 58 years is like at least 20 years longer than I've been alive, but truly appreciate all you've done. And I don't want you to think that retirement is going to be quiet for you, because we will be calling you and asking you for help with things.
Thank you. I'll be around someplace.
All right, Trevor.
Okay, and that is all I have on my report. So next is the approval of consent agenda items. That includes the minutes of the May 13th board meeting, the closed session meeting minutes of May 13th, payment of bills in the amount of $47,027.83, the budget report for 2025, Battle Creek Police Department and Bedford Charter Township Fire Department reports, building and zoning report, the assessor report, and the planning commission liaison report. Is there a motion?
Motion to accept.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Next is public comments on agenda items only. Is there any public comments? All right. Next is our police report. Officer Watson.
I'm here in Officer LaValle's place very last minute. So I will let you know what I was told. For the month of May, we took 388 calls for service in Bedford Township. For priority 1 calls, we were able to make it on scene in less than 8 minutes, which is pretty good since Bedford can be very far from the city. B&E, there was a B&E forced entry in the area of Swedish Drive and on 37. There was a house that was vacant without power after the storms. someone went through a window and stole a safe. Thankfully, the safe had nothing inside of it though. There was a larceny in the area of Beulah Ave where packages were stolen off of a front porch and it's unknown of any suspect information at this time. There was counterfeit money at a business in the area of Michigan and Custer. The suspect paid $150 in motion pictured money, and we have one suspect identified at this time. There was a traffic stop in the area of Cross and Hussey. We had a breaking and entering / larceny complaint at a business in Urbandale. We pulled over the car and were able to recover stolen property from the vehicle that the suspect took. We recovered the property and gave it back to the owner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? All right, chief? Your last fire report?
Yeah, I'm glad you're here with me.
Probably not.
That-
I'm gonna be calling you.
Well, medicals last month, now down the same thing every month. The two greatest things we had was the storm that come through here at 11 o'clock at night when it hit us. I looked out to the back door there and it hit us hard, and I was looking for trees to come down, and I heard a big bang, crack. Well, two of them right there in the Bedford in the village. I was locked in right by the Mason Temple right there. A big tree come down with wires in it, completely across 37. Back down by almost the curve. There was another big one come down. So pretty well locked in. I couldn't get out and go any place. Well, I didn't want to really go any place anyway to start with. Traffic was tied all up on 37. They couldn't get down through there. They couldn't go down across Edmonds to Walbaskin because Walbaskin was all blocked off with trees. About every road in Township had trees going down and stuff. And we guys started out and they worked all night long, all the way until the next morning, sometimes 7, 8 o'clock in the morning before they got back to their stations and stuff with cutting trees. And there was, if you drive around, you really can see there's still some out there that are hanging out down and uprooted. St. Mary's Lake got hit pretty hard across there and everything, but that storm, it was just particular who was going to pull down what tree was going to down. It uprooted some trees, a lot of them. Some of it didn't. It just busted them off. But it was another good storm that come through us on it. Then we had the big fire over in Penfield, the grocery store. It used to be Comark's, if you remember that, there years ago. Grocery store there now and stuff. And earlier in the afternoon, there had a dumpster fire over there, and Penfield arrived under that, put it out, and they went back to their station. Wasn't less than a half an hour, the whole back end of the store was on fire over there and stuff. Well, Emmett got called out onto it, and once they got there, and Penfield found out that they wanted Bedford there with a tower to come to and all of that stuff. So when we got there and stuff, the big vents on the roof, fire was just coming right out of the big vents on there. It was, and pretty well burning pretty good inside there. So they set the towers up, Bedford on one side, Emmett on the other, started getting water, and they couldn't get through the fire of the roof because when they went and built it down over there, the original roof was flat. They left that there with all the tar on it and everything. They just kind of put a pitched roof over it with tar and plywood and stuff, and you couldn't penetrate it in to get to the fire inside and stuff. Nobody could go inside it anyway because it burned fully off down there and stuff. We figured we put over about close to 1 million gallons of water on that store to flush it all, everything out, and finally get it out in the morning, about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. It finally got out and stuff. So if you've been by there, it looks like a bomb went off and blew everything all out on the car places and with driveway and stuff, and that's because all the water finally got in there once they penetrated the roof and opened it up enough where they could get the towers in there. They washed everything out, stuff out in the street and stuff. Total loss it was and stuff, but it was set. It was set by an individual who set the dumpster on fire to start with. Then he turned right around and set the store on fire. It was the homeless man. So
Allegedly.
the store is completely gone at this time, and I guess it's not gonna build back and stuff on it. Yeah, because it lost a lot of stuff in it, but it was ours. So one of them individuals that double roofs on it, just like over yonder here at the bar, they got roof on top of another roof, and that's dangerous because you can't get through to penetrate and get the fire on it and stuff like that. It should have been opened up, but anyway, all that tar was underneath that roof, that first one underneath there, and it just kept flaming right back up and stuff, but it was indoor, but we accommodated it with both towers and everything and stuff in there, so that was another bad one and stuff, but other than that, we're still moving along, and like I say, we've got a lot of trees out there right now that's once in a while fall down. We had a couple runs yesterday on tree over on Wallbasca over there and stuff, but falling down and blocking the road up and stuff, but we'll still kick it out there and get them, cutting them up and get them off the road and stuff like we have in the past years or so, but yeah, I feel it was time to bail out. 58 years I've been on their department. I've seen a lot of things. I've seen a lot of accidents, saw a lot of grass fires. I figured at times, I was just figuring the other day how many times I've ran across that road to get a truck's at #1 station and stuff. And I think it's a little over 20,000 times I've crossed that road to get a truck to go fight fire and stuff. I used to work for Bedford Rescue Squad for a while there too. When they, if you remember, anybody remembers that, that's right out there in the village too. Till they folded up and stuff, and then I kept right on with the fire department and stuff, but if you remember years ago, that station #1 was where all fire calls came to. They had an individual living in there that would answer them calls. Then he'd hit little bing ding and set electrons off that we'd have in our houses and stuff, but he has a wife and 2 kids. They lived in there and stuff, went to Gull Lake and stuff, but we had some old vehicles at that time. We had a lot of problems with them things, starting stuff. Johnstown did not have a fire department. We had to cover that area too at time. But we had to go all the way into Lacey, all the way out to Bristol Lake and stuff, cover all them homes out Vanfield Road and stuff at that time and everything. But I remember Lacey, the middle of Lacey, they used Halloween night, they put big blocks of wood, bales of hay and stuff up in there, set it on fire every Halloween night for years, a few years ago with it. And then we'd get the call, I have to go put it out and stuff, and then they stand over there and throw tomatoes and stuff at you and everything, stuff like that. And one night the hose got loose. So, they don't do that no more. So that's one of the things that fun that we had given to us and stuff at times, but yes, I've seen a lot of things, and I've seen a lot of people go through the department. I learned from the older men that I worked with, because I worked with it at that time. We had the long black coats. We wore rubber coats, and they went all the way down to here and stuff like that. Well, it's quite changed quite a bit of the fire gear from then until now and stuff on it. But police department would get together with the fire department, and we'd have a little breakfast upstairs at Station 1 up there. We'd have sausage and cooked up that and stuff. That was happened a few years too up in there until the police department moved out and stuff. But got a lot of memories, good memories. I got a lot of bad memories too. But I appreciate what has happened. It's from police, fire department in our area. We have progressed greatly. New trucks of 2023, we paid less than $1 million, just under $1 million for 6 trucks right now to replace an engine. It's going to cost you $1 million. Bought one 3-4 years ago. I paid a little less than $600,000. Now the same thing going to cost me $1 million. It just keeps going up. It's terrible, ridiculous, up there, outrageous. We have got one ordered. It's going to take 2 years to build. But I think that's going to go into Station 1 out there and stuff. If we ever get a station going out there, that's another big progress thing it's going to have to take care of. But I just feel that the time to move on and let somebody else have it for a while and stuff, and, I'll be around probably until the Lord draws me home and stuff, but otherwise I'll be around to help or advise maybe, but probably my advice won't take going too far, but that's all right too. So I'm easy to get along with as long as you work with me. If you don't work with me and you go against me, look out. Right? I recreate you. Any questions? I don't long enough. You don't want me to continue?
Well, that's up to you.
No, I've done it. I know.
Hey Larry, how many supervisors in 58 years?
I-
It's your first one too.
Who was that? Was you, yours?
Yeah.
Yours Armstrong. And
Oh, well, yeah.
right through there, and the rep all the way up there. It's 8 or 9 of them I can probably, but that's about it, but
Okay.
it's been a few of them and stuff in there. So I didn't run them all out either. Anything else? Nah, thank you.
Thank you. Jim. Well, tonight we have Representative Steve Frisbee here. Thank you for joining us.
It's been a busy time for me. It started in Lansing. I often find myself on Tuesdays tied up in meetings after sessions, so learning a lot, having fun. Hope I'm representing you in the way that you want to be represented. So I've been getting a lot of good comments, so keep doing what I'm doing and try to do what's best for the district. Well, like I said, it's a big learning curve, but I think I'm starting to catch on of how to maneuver Lansing just a little bit. So we'll keep at it. A couple things going on. Last time I was here, we talked about roads. No funding has come through the Senate. They put through their budget, which is unconstitutional. It's at least $4 billion overspending, which is unconstitutional in Michigan. We have to present a balanced budget. So they're either going to ask you for $4 billion worth of new taxes and fees, or they're going to have to redo their budget. We sent it back to them and said, why don't you try it again? They did their budget off the January revenue estimation conference. 2 days after they announced their budget, the next revenue estimation conference findings came in. Went from $1 billion expected, over expectations down to 250 million. So yeah, but how that equates to 4 billion over, quite sure. Like I said, they really have no money in their budget for roads. So it kind of confirmed that if they're going to do road funding in the Senate, they'll want to do it with all new revenue, all new taxes, all new fees, where our plan doesn't. No new taxes, no fees. So that's a little bit frustrating. Our goal right now is to get the education budget completed. I think you'll see that soon, real soon. But we have to rein in some spending. I think we're going to be okay with the education budget, but the rest of it will be under review. You'll probably see it probably drag out a little bit. But that's okay. The 43% increase in state budget over the last 2 years is unsustainable, as we all know. So our goal is to pull back where we believe we can without affecting services that residents of the state of Michigan and this district need. So governor does support doing something now. She's kind of maneuvered to be more in line with us at the House, which is an interesting position because it creates problems in Lansing within our caucus. And how do we get this done? But we'll stand by. We'll try to work it out. I submitted a bill last week and did testimony. I don't know if you saw it. It was a ban to ban local governments from banning gas and natural gas, and LP will be added to it, appliances. I think it's a pretty common sense issue of people having choice if they want gas or electricity. The problem is in the policies passed in the past session, it was all towards renewable energy. So they want all electric. The real issue though is when you have a combined house with natural gas and electric, you actually produce 11% less emissions. And that comes from the federal government, energy department. So, and I like that choice. And we have an abundance of natural gas in Michigan. We have sufficient, currently, infrastructure in place. Why would we abandon that and move away from it to go to a higher priced alternative of all electric? Against consumers, they provide, when there's no storms, they do great at providing us electricity. But I think people should have choice. That choice right now is choice of electricity is 3.4 times higher than that of natural gas. What was a little bit befuddling is your township association came out against it. So if you see fit, I would hope you contact Judy Allen and Lansing and register your support of the bill. I don't think you would want to put a ban in of gas appliances in your township. I think that'd be probably a huge mistake. And it's not a loss of local control. It's a loss. There is a ban of individual freedom, and I think we need to, as government, need to give people the choice. So if you see fit, go ahead and call the MTA and let them know that maybe you don't support that position as it came out. Any questions for me? All right.
What are you doing in Washington DC next week?
There's 40 House legislators going, probably 39 Republicans and 1 Democrat. Karen Whitsett, and we're going to meet with department and secretaries. So what the goal of this is to try to align state with federal. And so we're all marching in the same direction instead of against each other. When I went in 2017 as a county commissioner, I described it this way. President Trump and the government, intergovernmental relations department in the federal government was always one. But the forward facing was this side. And we'll tell you when we want something from you. And what President Trump actually did in the first term was turn it this way and say, how can we work together? You know, if you need something, you approach us. And that's exactly what he's establishing again, is that interaction of the local, the county, the state level of how does government get on the same page and do what's best for the citizens. So I think it's a great opportunity to go out there. Good to say no. So I signed up to go. By the way, I'm paying myself. I'm paying it myself to go. It's not tax dollars. Nobody's using tax dollars to go. So everybody's electing to go is doing it on their own, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
What was your bill number? I couldn't.
You know, I tried to look it up because I forgot it. I don't have enough connectivity here to be able to find it.
I know.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
I think it's 46.
Put it on Facebook
Yeah,
too, on his
it's on my
Facebook page.
We'll be having office hours coming up in Albion and at Mr. Don's in Springfield.
Nice.
Yeah, so those are in the end of the month and those dates and times. I think it's a Friday. I think it's noon here in Battle Creek at Mr. Don's, so it's actually Springfield. So, yeah. So if you care to join, love to have you. All right. I appreciate the time and
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Take care.
Good thing.
Thank
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is our unfinished business that was tabled.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is Commissioner Strobridge here? I'm so sorry. Goodness.
I reckon you guys. You get the representative.
You guys both, yeah. What a treat.
Thank you. We did not coordinate for anybody. Proclamation that was read at the beginning of this meeting, I actually wrote that. And I'm the one who presented it to Curtis and Shane Lundberg, their department, on behalf of Bedford Township.
Nice.
And one thing that I really enjoy being in this position is that I can honor those people who go above and beyond. It was a pleasure for me to honor them. and to honor Bedford Township. It was not a pleasure for me to serve Penfield Township during the storm, but I also honored 2 members from Penfield Township Fire Department and 2 people from Calhoun County Dispatch. In the hours and days after the storm, I was in contact with Bill Woodward quite a bit, both as a county commissioner and also as a fellow firefighter. I kind of provided some liaison work between the county, if we could provide any. There were some roads that he was concerned with that I was able to get with our emergency management guy, who was able to expedite getting consumers there. So hopefully I acted in the capacity of county commissioner in helping you guys and your citizens get back to some semblance of normal. As the proclamation says, 90% of all people in Penfield and Bedford Townships were without power. Even though I live in the country, I never lost power.
Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, for days.
Yeah, but I certainly have been in that situation before, so I recognize the emergency nature, especially of elderly people who may be dependent on oxygen machines and various and sundry other medical items. It's a huge concern. We actually, in my discussions with the emergency manager, we talked about the possibility of contacting Red Cross for getting to those types of people who may have that type of need. We didn't actually encounter, in fact, I talked to Bill about that too. We didn't actually utilize that service because we couldn't identify who those people might be. But that was in our back pocket to use it so needed. Second thing, because obviously my background is public safety, so I serve on public safety style or type committees. The second thing is today we went live with our new 800 radio system. Huge improvement over what we had. The previous radio system that we've all been operating on has been on the books and functional, quasi-functional for over 40 years. It was time for a new system, and we have it now, and it's so much better than it was. So that just happened today at 10 o'clock. Larry can attest to that. And it's going to make a huge difference for interoperability and for communications for first responders. So I was proud to be a part of that project. Now, more at the end than at the beginning, obviously. But I do sit on that committee and have had minor impact. So anyway, that's all I have. I know a lot of your concerns is around roads, but since we passed the stuff on roads 2 months ago, I've now forgotten most of that. So anyway, any questions for me?
I do have a question. Scanners with the new 800 radios. Many of our citizens are worried they're not going to be able to hear what's going on. Will they be able to?
Yes, on the fire frequencies.
On the fire.
I don't know about police.
Okay.
The last I knew, police frequencies were encrypted. Is that correct? Yes.
Okay.
Our fire frequencies are not encrypted.
Okay.
So yes, Scannerland can have access to our fire frequencies, just not
Okay.
police.
And do they need to do anything special? I just got 2 calls this afternoon
I have no idea.
about it.
They would have to get the new frequencies because the
Right.
old frequencies were UHF frequencies,
Right.
so it would be a whole different, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what those frequencies are.
That's been coming for 20 years, the
Yeah.
800, so yay.
I was actually
Good.
part of the original PD project back in 2005 when PD first went 800. So yeah, it's been a long time coming for the fire service.
Yeah. Well, good.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. And now we'll move on to unfinished business. How's that? This was a resolution we tabled last month, resolution 5/13/25/16, resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Charter Township of Bedford to approve adoption of the sewer and water rates effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30, 2026. This is the sewer and water rates for Battle Creek. Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second, okay,
Who's
and then discussion.
Who was the second?
Treasurer.
Thank you.
Any discussion on this?
So as I recall, is this with the budget for anticipated maintenance that Cody laid out.
Yes,
Okay. We were not scrambling for
correct.
last minute repairs.
And then it's just a year out for this one, in anticipation of the city of Battle Creek redoing their rate schedule. That usually is a 3-year schedule. So this will get us through that time.
I just wanted to make sure those numbers counted for that.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All right, roll call?
Treasurer Davis.
Yes.
Trustee McKay.
Yes.
Trustee Menke.
Yes.
Trustee Blanchard.
Yes.
Trustee Hoskins.
Yes.
Supervisor Cody.
Yes.
Clerk Baraco. Yes. 7 yes, motion carries.
Excellent. Next, we have discussion items, and first on the discussion items is the farmer's market and trustee Hoskins.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to address that I had a chance to stop May 31st up at the market, and just traveling the road Saturday mornings, this has really grown, really huge growth. I think this was the biggest turnout they've ever had there. Prices are great. The people that are coming there are bringing lots of stuff to our community. They're getting gas, they're going to our grocery stores, things like that. So I just want to make sure that we have some support. Our Bedford's not affiliated, our township, but I just think it's an amazing thing that Mr. and Mrs. Van Gotham are doing. And I just want to say thank you. I think that there was a family that approached me actually while I was there visiting, and from California. They seen the homemade sign. They stopped out of curiosity. So they were traveling up north to Mackinac Island, and they were coming back 2 weeks later, and they were going to stop back here in town just to see what was here in 2 weeks. So I just think there's a lot that they're putting into that market. And I think that the more we support that local, then I think it brings a lot of stuff to our community as well. So I just want to say, and Judy's bread is pretty good. Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Good. It was packed on Saturday.
Yes, it was
I drove
huge.
by in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's a lot of work that
It
they put
is.
into that. Yeah, absolutely.
It is. Excellent. Next, I'll talk a little bit about the storm cleanup. I know, thank you guys for recognizing our fire department. I know they were out all night and much of the next day after the storm. I received a lot of calls from some not very happy citizens because all of our main roads were blocked. I mean, all of them.
Yeah.
M37, Wabascon, Collier for a while, and a lot of citizens on Collier Road were able to get that one open. So I happened to be at a conference in Grand Rapids that was, let me tell you, a little jarring in the hotel when they did the tornado warning and the thunderstorm warning. They're a little loud on those speakers. I didn't even know hotels had speakers, but they did. And so it was a storm up there too. But when I came home the next day, I didn't run into any storm damage that you could really see significant until I hit Bedford Township. And I know that everyone had a lot to clean up, and I appreciate everyone, neighbors helping neighbors and neighbors serving neighbors, and that's fantastic. I have gotten a couple of requests I know the city was doing a drive on June 2nd where they were picking up extra brush that people had in their yards. That's not something that we could afford to do, nor would we have been able to find a tree service to help us do something like that. Our tree services were a little busy. I think they still are cleaning up, but kudos to everyone out there. Kudos to our fire department, our police officers. I know they had a hard time just getting to calls. So on top of not just the storm and the damage from the storm, they were also going on medical calls in the middle of the storm. So there were 37 calls, I think I counted on the report, 37 addresses just over in the overnight hours in Bedford Township by our fire department. So kudos to all of you, and we appreciate all the work that you've done. Next is Clerk Baraco, and I'll let you pronounce it.
So 2 weeks ago, trustee Hoskins and I met with, Lisa Vanderbrink to go over just a informational task to figure out where in the cemetery we could add a columbarium and what would be the most cost effective. He is going to have, they're going to get back with us on sizes so that we can get bids for his cement work that we'll be doing. This is,
So what is a
a
columbarium?
columbarium is a burial vault that's for cremains. We're only doing the cremains columbariums. And the one that we're choosing is what's on the front cover. It's just one like this and then 2 benches. So we'll be putting that in the cemetery.
We'll have 4 benches.
4 benches. You want to add anything?
My cemetery I work, we have these as well, and it's actually a good, opening, closing fees, things like that, that'll pay for itself very quickly. And then the money that comes in and reinvesting back into the cemetery, I think it needs, so I think it's a great decision, and price wise.
Right.
I work with Nelson as well, Granite, and they're,
Good prices.
yep, absolutely. Of course,
there
the
was-
concrete, we'd have to get all that still
The
in there,
bids for
but,
that,
and
right.
that's expensive, but
So that's it. We're at the beginning of that and hope to be able to get this set sometime this fall is the goal. So we have ordered 1 columbarium and 2 benches at this point. So we'll keep you posted and we'll let you know price wise what they are selling for the burial rights, and then we'll do pictures as we go.
We will be trying to add another one eventually though, correct?
Correct.
leaves a lot of leeway to expand it,
Right.
even with more down the
Awesome.
road.
Mhm.
Good. Oh, our township building roof. Where to start? Maybe up there. You can see that little spot there. We have a lot of leaks in our roof. A lot. I've got a picture on my phone that the fire department sent me. It possibly was the night of that storm. It might have been a different rain where water was just pouring into the fire apparatus bay. Joyce's office, the deputy clerk, her desk has a huge leak. It's a mess up there. It is about 30 years old. So I called around. We've got 2 bids so far, and we have another one coming on Thursday for a bid. It's probably going to cost us about $100,000 to have a new roof, and they will warranty it for 30 years. One of them, the first bid we received was not this. It was this one, which is about $85,997, which nearly gave me a little bit of a stroke, but this is a big roof. It is nearly 30 years old. There is patchwork up there from people here using silicone to try to milk it a little bit, but it's done, over with. The other one is a bid that is a little concerning. They call each year and want to come and offer a roof. And they gave us a bid of, their best bid was $51,050. And the deputy supervisor and I started researching this company. They have 1.5 stars. And many of the comments on their Yelp reviews are, we can't rate anybody with 0 stars. But we have to put a star in to give them a rating. So I think that one's kind of not one we'll go with. And then the third one we will have on Thursday, but we will need to have the money. I think that we could use some of the marijuana money that's I'm open for conversation that could cover it, but it would be a 30-year warranty. So I wanted to let you guys know that, and I'll let you know what the bid is with the third one.
And it's beyond patching, correct?
Way beyond. And, insurance won't cover it because some of the, roof repairs were previously done with silicone.
Was there original warranty with the roof when we built the building?
Building is 30 years old.
I think we're only about 23 years old. I think this was built in 2002.
Chief? I could look at the paper,
I thought it was.
but I thought it was 2000.
So it
Yeah,
might be worth looking at the contract to see, I mean, I know.
we'll
but-
certainly
Yeah.
look. And, with us doing our own repairs, I don't know that anybody would cover any type of warranty because of that.
That's probably true.
Yeah. Okay. Next, the Parks and Recreation Committee, trustee McKay.
Trustee McKay gets the Parks and Rec.
Yes.
Well, we've been talking about this for quite some time. If we're gonna resurrect this committee, if so, what is their role? The previous committee members were doing social activities, they were doing design, usage, maintenance, all kinds of things. And it's kind of come to what you just handed me.
The
The list of
A
membership.
list of members of the Parks
Okay.
and Rec.
So I guess, before we restart, we know it's an advisory committee.
Correct.
They cannot spend money. They can recommend, but they cannot spend. I think it'd be fair to the committee members to know what is their role going to be. I do know, since I had a relative on the committee, that a lot of their time was being spent on more social things. And it was distracting them from doing things to improve the parks. So that's an issue that we might need to talk about. It's just,
Sure.
what do you want them to do?
Well, I know they need to meet because we did allocate $30,000 for Markham Park last month. And, so we need to get going on that. What do you guys?
I think if we could find a mix somehow, I think that the reason for the social events was to gain interest in the parks and interest in the community. So that was a way of coming together, and people had fond memories of Bedford days. So by bringing that back to life, I think that was, so if there could be a mix, that would be great, but.
That was a good turnout last year.
And then we had movies in the
Bedford
park,
Day.
trying to figure out
Yeah.
what people wanted. But what we quickly realized was it was still light out
Yeah.
at 9 o'clock, so the kids couldn't watch movies in the park. I don't know if there's a healthy balance there somewhere. Or partnering with.
Well, we have a lot. How many parks do we have? 6? I can't remember. Somebody knows better than I do.
Got
Cody's counting.
3.
3 real active parks.
3, but Cross is kind of split into 2. There's upper and lower.
Yeah. And each one, is in a different location that
Correct.
designs itself or produces a different result.
Mhm.
The one in Bedford is, on the beautiful river, and it's more of a recreational, social type park. Whereas Markham is a combination of a giant field and in trails. And we had a park cleanup there last year that was quite successful. Cody and I were digging in the remnants of all kinds of stuff.
Lots of tires.
And I know that Cody has some ideas for Markham Park, correct?
I do.
And he would like that $30,000 to spend for that.
Based off our Parks master plan as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just me coming up with ideas.
And there's still money to be used from the grant. So it's not just the 30,000, we still have about 37,000 left to do that. So we need to, what was it, a millage? Millage, not a grant.
Are we on a time limit for that
Um,
money? Do we lose it if we don't
I
use
know
it?
that we had to allocate it, so we have to use it.
Okay.
But you know, it's summer. This is the time to use it.
Yeah.
To get her done.
I remember it with the millage, it has to be spent on something that is new to the park. Like you
Okay.
can't just be, replacing you know, a
Okay.
cement pad or this or that. It has to be, bringing something new to those parks. That's the part I think so. Which
Okay.
with a lot of our parks is a good thing. They don't have much there.
Yeah.
So little things can
Let's update.
be
Yeah.
qualified for that.
And I think currently they don't have a chair of that committee.
No.
So maybe the members could get a meeting on the books and then nominate a chair and get busy.
We'll start back to meetings back
Soon.
here again. Is that what you're thinking?
It doesn't matter to me where they have them as long as they have one.
Yeah.
And then they can set up the times
Yeah.
and being advisory, I think that takes, where they don't have the Open Meetings Act, is that correct?
Yep.
So they can meet maybe even sooner than.
Yeah.
That'd be nice, but be nice to get moving on these projects. I was shocked last month, and I know I told you guys last month, when I talked to those kids in the Pathfinders group, how many of them brought up our parks. These kids use our parks and they want to participate in a park cleanup. So we'll be putting everybody to work in the park cleanup in the fall. But they use them and they want good parks, good places to play.
Cody, do you want to try to?
Yeah, so
email
I
the
actually,
membership?
sent an email out today because, Erin, you're on the part, for committee, she donates flowers every year to be in the
Yeah.
planters and skeets, and she has those ready, so.
Okay.
I got a hold of Thor, he's dropping off the planters, and someday this coming week, when enough of us can kind of coordinate a time to get together, we're gonna get together and plant those and get those out, the skeets. And that'll be more of an informal, just to get those flowers planted, so she doesn't have to keep watering them at her house. And then we'll decide there, okay, this day works for everyone, monthly or every couple weeks, one more, 4 meetings, and we'll figure out a chair. But, yeah.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
All right, next is fire station number 1 update. There's not much to update. We did have the final, through land bank. Brought the EPA in for the final walkthrough, and we're waiting for word. I did email them today, still haven't heard back. And as soon as they do, we need to get that moving and get some bids for fire station 1 replacement. They currently have the temporary building up, but that building, we need a building there. Fire station 1 was, didn't you mention how old that was? And then, cooking upstairs, it was 2017 that upstairs at that building was condemned. And so we need to get that replaced sooner rather than later. So as soon as we get that back from the land bank, we will get moving on that.
Is there a deadline on the demolition? I mean, we had that demolition was gonna be paid for. But was there a deadline we had to have that done by, or? That was in the beginning of Haro's time, I think,
Right.
that lady come in and.
I'm not sure if they've given us a deadline for the demolition because they're in charge of the demolition.
Mm,
Yeah.
So they've had us redo some boundaries but
They went through everything, even the other 2 pole buildings. They went through, yeah. So I really hope to have some very good news next month that we'll be able to talk about and hopefully vote
We
on.
had a group that was gonna pay to do the demolition, is what I'm saying.
that's the land bank.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right,
They had to do some stuff with the EPA before they could.
okay.
So that's been done. We're just waiting on that report. Next, Deputy Supervisor Cody McCarty, if you don't mind talking about the ordinance in the upcoming holiday.
Yes, just a reminder with 4th of July coming, we do have a fireworks ordinance. and it specifies specifically around 4th of July. You have from, 11 a.m. until 11:45 p.m. from June 29th to July 4th. You can be setting off fireworks. And then July 5th, if that date is a Friday or a Saturday, you're also allowed to set fireworks off until 11:45 p.m. So you got about a week's time. July 5th is a Saturday this year, so pretty much that whole week preceding 4th of July. From 11 a.m. to 11:45 p.m., you might be hearing fireworks. So it's a lot.
Thank you. And next, trustee Hoskins on the township vehicle.
Thank you. Just going through all of our charts and everything as far as mileage reimbursement, I think that's getting kind of high, going through all of it. So I'm kind of proposing to see, we're just kind of starting discussion of looking at possibly getting a vehicle, maybe a hybrid, something here for the township that would be labeled for township or blight, to have that to go onto property. So people will acknowledge who's coming. The same with anybody in the office doing banking, doing anything that they need to do using that vehicle. Just a couple bullet points, maybe getting a credit card that would be for that vehicle only, so we can track some of that. I just think with purchasing a vehicle, maybe in doing that, we would save quite a bit of money. And
I do too.
yeah. The price of mileage, yeah.
I've personally, we've had, some work done around our house. And even when inspectors come, like they're in their own vehicles. I don't remember seeing a name tag or a badge, but he probably did have one. But I didn't know who it was pulling in our driveway. And I just think that's, especially for a blight officer.
Yeah.
He needs to be official, and I think that will help.
Yeah.
Are you
And
thinking new or used?
I think I'm open. I think there's auctions, things like that, different
Right.
things we could go look at. And it doesn't have to be anything spectacular or anything, something small, something good on gas.
And we have I've got a very good contact where we got Squad 5-2 through the My Deals, Michigan Deal. And I'll give him a call tomorrow.
Yeah, and then we also have a shared calendar now, shared points, so everybody could kind of sign in and out of the vehicle when they need it. I don't know, Christy, what you're at as far as banking, things like that, to sign in and out, you know what I mean? Too.
That's changing a little bit. I'm looking into different banking resources. I do have a bank that will come and pick up my deposit. Up to a certain amount, cash value. Otherwise, I still have to travel. I think I will be doing the checks. When they come in, I run them through immediately. So it's gonna cut down on a lot of banking time coming up.
Is there a fee for them to pick up?
No, it's
Okay.
part of being partnered with them.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, credit card, again, just that will be solely connected to that vehicle, so we can track
Yeah, I
expenses.
think we do that with the fire
Yeah,
trucks too.
Yeah.
So all the township vehicles. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Yeah, if you're willing to look at some numbers. Do some comparisons.
Yeah.
If it's money forward, then I don't have a problem with it.
well, that's it. We could kind of compare the last year of all the
Yeah.
mileage for everybody and then bring it back to the board. I'm willing to wait that 30 days and I'll take that project to do the numbers and see if
Perfect.
that's gonna be a good move for us here at the township.
Excellent. All right, next is petitions and new business. This would be acceptance ordinance number 10-898-34 for the first reading. The resolution would be 6/10/25/18. Whereas the Charter Township of Bedford enacted ordinance number 10-898-34 titled Groundwater Wells Ordinance as amended by ordinance number 89739 for the regulation and restrictions of groundwater wells within certain areas of the township. And whereas proposed ordinance 10-898-34 amends the groundwater wells ordinance as amended to add provisions to cap private wells by agreement. And whereas pursuant to MCL 42.0 1.20 of the Charter Township Act, the Charter Township of Bedford trustees introduce and accepts for first reading attached ordinance number 10-898-34 and will consider it for adoption at the July 8th, 2025 regular Township Board meeting. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The Charter Township of Bedford Board of Trustees accepts the attached ordinance number 10-898-34 for first reading and will consider the same for adoption at the July 8th, 2025 regular Township Board meeting. The Township Clerk is hereby authorized to publish a notice of ordinance submission in a newspaper of general circulation within Bedford Charter Township, thereby noticing the public that ordinance number 10-898-34 will be considered for adoption at the July 8th, 2025 regular Township Board meeting. That was a lot of the same words and dates and numbers. Okay. All right. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right. Discussion.
You say the newspaper of general circulation, when you mean the shopper? Yeah.
Yes.
Question, what are we really trying to do here?
Cody? Yeah.
So we've had a groundwater wells ordinance for a while, since '98. And it's specified in it, the Morgan to Washington to Coolidge to North Avenue areas, as well as around St. Mary's Lake, basically requiring anyone building a new house, they have to hook up to city water. With all the work on the River Road water project, everyone that hooked up to city water signed an agreement that they would cap their wells. And now we have some people pushing back that now that they're hooked up on city water, well, we want to keep our wells, we're not going to allow it to be capped. So we're just adding, instead of specifying the exact area in the hopes for future grants where we can, add more city water. This just allows basically anyone that has one of those agreements that you're now required to hook up, which they already are, but they're also required to cap those wells. And this just gives us an enforcement method behind that. We do have a couple holdouts, and the River Road water project cannot be considered completed until all those wells are capped. So even though all the work's done, we can't complete the River Road water project until there's just a couple, one or two, I believe, wells are capped, and we're just getting some pushback by those homeowners.
Can I ask, for those, so the water was, for their well water, it was contaminated.
Yes.
With PFAS.
Yeah.
Which is not good.
Yeah, and they understand that.
Yeah.
And that's why they're almost one of the reasons they're pushing back. They're like, well, my house is hooked up to city water now, so I'm drinking clean water. I can still use this to wash my car or water my garden.
Oh, I see.
And we're explaining like, well, hey, you signed an agreement, B, you water your garden with us. You're still then eating PFAS.
Right.
And yeah, it's just been a headache for the engineering team. They kept going to these people's houses and getting some relatively aggressive pushback. I know they even contacted BCPD once or twice to see if they would do the work with a police escort. The police agreed to that, and then the contracting team did not feel comfortable doing that. So this just gives us basically a method of enforcement for that.
In point of clarification, these are people who agreed to it up front. Okay,
Yep.
this isn't anybody we
Yeah,
made do it.
no,
All right.
So they understood to begin with, they would have to cap.
yeah,
They signed paperwork, didn't they?
yeah.
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 Whether they read that paperwork or not, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
But they signed it.
All right. Any other discussion? How about a roll call?
Trustee Blanchard,
Yes.
trustee Hoskins,
Yes.
trustee Menke,
Yes.
clerk Baraco, yes. Treasurer Davis,
Yes.
trustee McKay,
Yes.
supervisor Bodie,
Yes.
7 yes, motion carries.
Next is resolution 610-2519, resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Charter Township of Bedford to adopt Township mission, vision, and values statement. If you'd like, I can read that. The mission statement, the mission of the Charter Township of Bedford is to provide responsive, transparent, and fiscally responsible governance that enhances the quality of life for all residents. We are committed to delivering exceptional public services, fostering sustainable growth, promoting public safety, and preserving our township's unique character through thoughtful planning and community engagement. The vision is the Charter Township of Bedford envisions a vibrant, inclusive, and forward-thinking community where residents enjoy a high quality of life, businesses thrive, and natural resources are preserved for future generations. Through proactive leadership, smart growth, and strong civic engagement, we strive to be a model township that balances tradition with innovation. Values would be integrity. We uphold honesty, transparency, and ethical conduct in all township operations and decision-making. Service, we are dedicated to providing high-quality, responsive services that meet the needs of our residents and businesses. Community, we foster a sense of belonging and engagement, encouraging participation and collaboration among all members of the township. Stewardship, we responsibly manage public resources and protect our natural environment for current and future generations. Innovation, we embrace forward-thinking solutions and continuous improvement to meet the evolving needs of our community. Accountability, we are committed to being accessible, answerable, and transparent in how we serve our residents. And respect, we value diversity and treat all individuals with fairness, dignity, and inclusion. Is there a motion?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion?
How often could we amend this? If there is anything we want to add to the mission statement,
We can anytime.
anytime.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a board vote, but I think this is a good start to work with our policies and procedures and as one of our interviewees for the trustee spot mentioned, we don't have a mission statement. And we need a mission statement. This is just something that I came up with. It doesn't mean this needs to be this way. If you have any suggestions for changing, that would be fine. We can update it as needed.
Wonderful, thank you. Good.
Start.
Ready? Roll call.
Trustee Menke,
Yes.
Clerk Farako, yes. Treasurer Davis.
Yes.
Trustee McKay,
Yes.
Supervisor Godey,
Yes.
Trustee Blanchard,
Yes.
Trustee Huskin,
Yes.
7 yes, motion carried.
Excellent. Next is public comment. The rules, as a reminder, are posted for review. Come on up.
Good evening. My name is Rod Auten and I manage Calhoun County Senior Services. I wanted to provide you a very quick update in terms of senior services, which is of course the senior millage for the county. Last year, we served over 6,600 residents in the county. We fund through the millage 22 different programs, including services like minor home repair, transportation, food services. Again, we serve older adults 60 and older in the county, and our 2024 annual report is due to come out here in the next couple of weeks. It's finished at the county communications now, and once it gets printed, we'll bring copies out here so you have them, but it'll also note just the number of services in Bedford Township that were provided last year. It's important to us to make sure that all townships in the county know how older adults are using the taxpayer dollars through senior millage to support their, again, our goal, and by the way, I love your mission statement, our goal of really keeping older adults, supporting them to stay at home as long as possible. So that's, again, and having this transparent data to support the work that is being done through senior millage funding is important. I did, when I came in, updated the brochures. We do have new additional information. I took the old ones, you have the new ones there now. Two other quick things this past year, well, in the last couple of months, we do mini grant funds, and we did support Bedford Township in doing a senior food and fun program. We support this financially with 4 or 5 other townships around the county, and I'm really excited for Bedford Township to be doing this. I can tell you the other townships that do it are really experiencing wild success and participation with older adults. A couple of these townships are having upwards of 30 to 40 older
Wow.
adults participate every time they meet. So really, it's a great opportunity at not a high cost to provide opportunities for older adults to come together in particular townships and so on. Last thing I'd like to mention, during the pandemic, we started what we call a senior ambassador program. And right now we have 15 senior ambassadors around the county. They're peer-to-peer supports for older adults who our goal is for all the older adults in the community to know about services available to them when they need them. And so we train the senior ambassadors to be able to be available to other older adults within their township, neighborhood, community, et cetera, and provide information as they need it. We really would love to have a couple in Bedford Township. I'm going to leave some cards with you. We train all the senior ambassadors ourselves, but we'd love to have a couple senior representatives in Bedford Township. So if you know of somebody who is looking for a volunteer opportunity, works well with other adults and so on, we'd love to be able to talk with them. And so there's information here. Where should I leave this?
I don't know, maybe in front of the retiring chief. That's what I was thinking.
What's your name?
Just one, yeah. Thank you, thank you.
Beyond that.
Any other public comment?
I'm Barb Jones. I had a question. When we have emergencies, I don't hear the siren and I'm right on Morgan.
Yeah, I didn't hear it either.
You neither?
No, but I heard the one not in Bedford, but I heard the one in Calhoun County, right down or Penville, but I did not hear ours.
No, I don't
And I
either.
usually
I
do
never.
when they test them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when they test them, but.
Yeah, but I
When
didn't, when the emergency hit, no, I was
Right.
just
And
outside.
I just wondered, where's it located? I don't even know. Do you know? The warning
By your
siren?
house, it would be station 3.
Yeah.
I was at station 3 when the storm hit, and unfortunately it lost power and the generator didn't kick on due to a bad battery.
Okay.
So we are getting the generator
Okay.
service.
Yeah, I was wondering, cause I was laying there wounded and everything. I didn't know.
It was on for about 45 seconds before we lost power.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, much
okay.
We're glad you're better now, Barb.
Yeah, we are, we're glad you're better.
And the other thing I wanted to know more about, for the roofers that you're looking for, are they within like a 15-mile or 20-mile radius? Are they local or do we go outside of that?
So two of them are, the one that I mentioned that calls every year and gave us,
Yeah, the one with the 1 point.
they're from Indiana. Yeah. It was good intentions, but the amount of emails and phone calls I've gotten since they came is a lot, on top of the reviews that we looked at. So no, the others are local.
They are local.
Yeah.
Okay, and do they warrant like they do your home?
They do.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
30
Yeah.
year, isn't
30
it?
years.
30-year warranty is what we're looking for. The one lowball offer, he said it's hard to get a 30-year warranty. The other one that came the other day, last week, did not mention that it's hard to get a 30-year warranty. So I think we'll just look at those two bids if you guys are good with that, and we gotta get it. We have to get it done.
Gonna cause more trouble.
Yeah, it was raining in the fire bay.
I wonder, because we have all these ads on TV all
I
the
know.
time for our various roofers, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, well, we have a lot of roofers right here.
We do.
Offer us some great bid or something?
Yeah, well, they're very busy right now because of the storm. So many people lost their roofs,
Yeah.
or parts of their roof, us included, my house included. So yeah, we had a bid on our deck. We had a lot of deck damage and they can't do it until the fall.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's how busy they are.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you, Barb.
thank you. Okay. Hi.
Carol Sprague on Newburn. Just kind of piggybacking off what she said, my concern is the tornado siren. We had like minutes literally minutes from the time that siren went off to get to our basement. I swear to God that my windows were coming in. That was how bad it was. So we got down into the basement. The siren stopped. It's like, okay, does this mean it's all clear? That's funny because it's just shut off. Is it all clear? So we grabbed the dogs and the cats and ready to head up the stairs and comes again. It's like, okay, let's go back and sit down. We have no TV, we have no phones, we have no communication. It stopped again. We headed back upstairs. It went off again. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, now I'm confused.
I know.
So what is it? Is it just because of that generator not working that?
Well, the one here
So-
should have been working, 'cause the generator did kick on, but the sirens are handled by dispatch.
Calhoun County Dispatch.
Yeah, like
Okay,
we're
well,
not here
this
turning it
It
up.
was
Yeah.
kind of a failure then if it was separate from the other
Yeah.
one, because we didn't know what to do. We were ready to go back upstairs and I guess a tornado was probably going over our house and.
Which area do you live in? Station 3? Oh, right over here. Okay. So we can check with them. What a night that
Yeah.
was for everybody. We are getting a contract with an electrical company to monitor our generators to make sure those are all in good shape and running.
I don't know if it was normal. It's like, I've never been through a tornado. I've been through straight line winds and stuff in Grand Haven, but not
Yeah,
anything like
that
this.
was, Bedford really got hit that night.
Yeah.
And
My daughter just
Yeah.
went through the one in Sherwood
did
a
she?
year ago, so I know what trees
Yeah.
look like when a tornado goes over. There's no top.
Yeah,
Your tops are all gone. It's like, okay, that's tornado. So I just wondered if that was
yeah.
unusual and maybe somebody needs to look into it because we were ready to head back.
Well, we'll
up
call,
and
we'll
it's like-
call dispatch and find, the sirens don't go off the entire tornado warning, but they go off to let you know to go to the basement and then, but yeah, it's,
It's confusing.
I know, sorry.
We survived.
Cody, do we have scheduled
Thankfully.
generator testing?
Well,
We're getting in
Oh,
now.
that's okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
We're still waiting on the company to come out. They put us on their list, but after that storm, they had a massive amount
Yeah.
of requests for generators. So I'm not sure when they'll be out, but we did get the one at 3 up and running.
I left them a
The batteries
message
needed to be
today.
jumped.
Yeah. Good thing to
They had to
yeah, stay
jump
up
start
on-
it with one of their personal vehicles, had to jump start the generator.
What did I?
It was.
What?
It worked, but,
Do we, run them like once a month or anything?
that's what we're gonna be
'Cause that's what
doing.
my neighbor, actually,
Yeah.
he
What
runs
this
it once a month.
contract is gonna be, it's gonna take care of that. Ours runs once a week. It doesn't.
Okay.
That's
On
our
Mondays.
personal.
Sundays.
How old are our generators? You know?
I don't know. I know they're.
No, not that old.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, we should have a contract. I don't know why we don't
Yeah,
have
if
it.
they're the original batteries, makes
Well,
perfect sense why
yeah.
it died, 'cause it's been a while since they kicked on.
Yeah,
It's just really bad timing for them to die.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that can happen, right?
Any other public comment? Commissioner Steib?
Got a list tonight.
Uh-oh.
Sitting right.
I guess, first and foremost, the county has started their chip sealing. If you follow their Facebook page, they'll try and give you an update of when that's gonna happen. Last week they were supposed to come out and do 48th Street, or baseline to 48th Street for us. That was a typo on their thing. I'm hoping that they'll come out and do a little bit of prep before they chip seal for us. There are some potholes in those roads that need to be filled before they do that. So I don't know if somebody from the township wants to reach out and find out what their plan is. That would probably be good. I will say that they did do the mowing, in the township on the sides of the road. I actually happened to be behind the mower, nice young man. Probably the best mowing that I've seen from the county in over a decade.
Wow.
Yes.
The mower was down all the way. They were not going 100 miles an hour. So maybe if we're calling to find out what's going on with the chip seal, we can pass on some praise.
I did, leave a voicemail
Yeah.
today and have not heard back yet, so,
So just wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
Again, the best I've seen in a decade, for
good.
sure. As far as the cemetery goes, and the column burial, that is something that, the chair is absolutely in favor of. And many of the other patrons, or not patrons, I guess, visitors to the cemetery. It's something that I think is gonna be a great thing, and there are a lot of people that'll be very interested in that. I've been going out there since '97, and, it'll be nice to have an option for remains. There's not a lot of spaces out there. There are hundreds, not thousands of families out there, so it'll be nice to try and, have a place for, relatives and stuff when, we don't necessarily have that option because we're short of spaces out there. So,
Can I interrupt your time for just a second?
absolutely. but you have
And
to
then
pause.
I will. All right.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
I have to thank Mr. Seib. He and his company helped clean up that cemetery. That was the week before Memorial Day weekend, and a lot of people wanted to get out to the cemetery. And boy, our grounds crew, our sexton, they worked hard all week, along with you and your company, clearing out the many trees that were down in the cemetery. Amazing job. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the credit really goes to the township employees, your grounds crew out there.
Yeah.
And, I know Jim helped out
He did.
as well. So, I mean.
Yeah, he did. He helped out a
The
lot.
township itself did
Yeah.
a great job on that, because it was a war zone up there. I mean, compared to some other places, not as bad, but it definitely was.
If I may ask before we start your time, was there a lot of damage to the monuments markers out there?
No, not that I know.
There's some.
There was
There's
some,
some,
I mean,
Some cement broken, they said, but they're very, very, very old.
Okay.
I would say overall on the scale of, based upon what I've seen, and I'm doing some work at a couple of the other cemeteries, I would say Bedford got pretty lucky as far as damage to the monuments. That's the one thing you always worry about, because, people are sensitive to that kind of
That's
thing.
good.
Yeah.
And some of the older ones, there's no one left to
Right.
Yeah.
take care of those
Right.
or refurbish, yeah.
Bedford got very lucky on that, in that regard.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done interrupting you.
No problem. And then, as far as, the township car, as a taxpayer, I'm definitely not so sure how I feel about that. I mean, we can't be spending that much money on mileage, so I look forward to seeing those numbers put together. I mean, the blight official, how much does a magnet cost to make up with our logo and throw it on the side of the car? You'd also have to think, commercial policy, and you're gonna have to have, everyone's gonna drive it covered, and, there are some other legality issues there that before we just run right in and do that. So I definitely hope there's more vigorous discussion as far as the township car goes, just from that standpoint. And then, real quickly, almost out of time, you see a couple members of the planning commission team here tonight. We did finally get the solar done. And it got through at our 3-hour and 31-minute meeting the other night. So we thank the board for their support during that. I did mention briefly that the process started for us in October of 2022 with the direction from the board to, take a look at the solar ordinance itself. And I went back and I figured it out for us, guys. We have almost 30 hours of actual meeting time related to the solar ordinance and this application itself.
And how much time did you spend other than meeting time and working on that ordinance?
We probably timed that by about 3 for me personally anyway, and I'm sure the members of the team as well, lots of reading. So our first big application that we've ever done, I'm super proud of the group for hanging in there and doing all that stuff. They did a good job of representing the township, the residents, and the board as well.
So I got a phone call from someone a couple weeks ago who was not a citizen of Bedford, but in a township where they're looking at a solar project. Not that they had a choice, but they're reading it. So they're reading other township ordinances and they read ours. I took full credit for it, but no. But they were very impressed. They're very, very, very impressed and loved the part about the noise and thought that ours was the best written solar ordinance that they had read so far. So kudos to all of you for that.
I'd say half of
Thank
the
you.
30 hours was probably spent just doing the ordinance itself, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comments?
Get to this all right.
Oh, no, oh, no.
Oh, yeah. My husband and I moved into 4701 Jones Road 1 year ago.
Okay,
Since then, I have proof, I have written, we've called the cops over 18 times. They've done nothing to help us, not even a parking ticket. One man, we went ahead and got our own PPO because he came on our property and threatened to kill us. The first PPO was denied because he'd only threatened to kill us once. And only about 2 weeks later, he threatened to kill us again, and we finally got a PPO. It's crazy. We need some help. I came here tonight to ask for some signage because,
There's no stopping, standing or parking.
there's 8 of those
8 of them
on our property.
on Wabascon Road. And we're right on Wabascon Lake. We're on the corner, where the culvert goes through into the lake. All sorts of fishermen there all the time, leaving trash all over.
All the time. They smash beer bottles, wine bottles. It's everything you can imagine. And
Ask them to leave, they go by the next morning, actually shooting guns off.
we have
At
the
6 o'clock
bullets.
in the morning.
We have the bullets of them. We just don't know what to do anymore, so we're gonna move. But I'd like to ask that some signage get put up for the next people, because you can't tell this, and he doesn't want me to say this, but God darn it, he's metal from the waist down. He can't fight these people that actually come up to him and say, come on, let's go. I've been called everything but a woman. And I have it all typed up. If anyone would please read it. Please read it in your, every incident, what time we called, what officers came, everything. And there's not even been a parking ticket issued, not even one. And so people know they can get away with it.
okay. Can we have a copy of that?
You can make a copy, and I'm sorry. After today, that's when I finally said, we're done, we're moving. I spent all day in court today, only to have 6 more tickets that the animal control officer issued, thrown out of court again. No one will do anything. Nothing. And when we moved in there, the house was trashed, and we had anywhere between 30 to 50 geese in our yard at all times. We now have none. We haven't had for weeks now. And it's because we finally, if you quit feeding the geese on our property, they'll go away. And they have. And I'm sorry, I used, in the last paragraph, I used the F word.
That's
I'm very
okay.
frustrated.
That's
and
okay.
I'm tired of everything being dismissed all the time. I brought my computer, if anyone wants to see, we have 4 cameras at our house. We have hundreds of pictures of people trespassing. There's nothing safe.
Can you stay here for a minute so we can get a copy of this?
How many times do you think you have engaged with the police?
We've called, there's 18 incidents reports.
I've taken care of a lot of myself.
But that's what we started doing, is we know, and you sweetheart, I've never had a problem with you. We know the Battle Creek Police have more to do than to come out and police our property. But we can't live like this anymore. We can't. The shots that ring out all the time, it wakes the neighbors up. We're on a thing with the neighbors. We're all scared, but we also know that because, I think it's because of our neighbors that live up the road, nothing will be done because they think we're all bad people that live out on Wabascon. And we're not bad.
I don't think they do. I don't think they do, but you know, we'll look into
There's
it.
something.
We're gonna read your stuff that you have. And
Please stay after if you don't mind.
yeah, and can we get your
Please.
phone number? Is your phone number on there that
No,
we can?
this is just my notes that I
Okay.
started. There was so many. I had jotted them down. I thought, I've got to start making these typed up because no one can read them.
Could you give me your, do you mind?
No,
And then we can follow up with you. We will follow up on this. And I'm sorry that you're going through this.
I'm shaking, I'm
It's
sorry.
very sad to feel you have to move and that is very.
We have no protection. Shaking, you can kind of read this
Yeah,
now.
we'll get it.
I'd be willing to pay for the signage. Because we have 6 no trespassing signs on our property in an area less than this. And people,
And
they still,
Yeah, put cameras up too, and that doesn't phase them either.
no, like I said, we have hundreds of pictures on our,
Is it the same people?
yes,
Or different people?
well,
Not necessarily.
Do you know who's doing the shooting?
Have
no,
idea.
we had no idea. That was in the middle of the night. I've got that in there. It woke up the entire neighborhood. It was, yeah.
I'm sorry you're going through this. We'll follow up with you. We'll read your notes
Sorry,
and follow up.
I was after today when all 6
No, I
charges were
get it.
dismissed. I'm
Sorry.
I
Please
couldn't
don't
take it.
apologize.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just legal paperwork. I've never had to call a cop before. I'm 62 years old. I've never had to.
Any other public comments?
I noticed right here. It's coming up, pancake breakfast.
Glad you brought that up.
Right out yonder here, we'll have somebody cooking the pancakes, sausage, cooked coffee and all of that stuff. Ignore the $8, just give it a donation. If they wanna charge you 8, come and see me.
Oh.
But we'll be here and right out here from 8 to 11 in the morning, the fire trucks will be out here. The kids can get in the trucks, have pictures taken and stuff and look at them all over. You can ask questions on the fire department, and I'm sure that they can answer you quickly and surely on a lot of the trucks and stuff, with how they're operating, how much water they come and all of this. And you can have a good time. And all that money that's donated in for the pancake breakfast goes into a kitty where we buy supplies for the truck and stuff like that and stuff. And, cause hoses and everything is just out of sight, just like a truck. Now, like I say, $1 million for an engine, take 2 years to build it. That's ridiculous. So come to that and, same day, I guess at, 1 to 4 and the village in there, they have the gymnasium, the Bedford Bible Church Gymnasium. They're having a party for me on my retirement and, that's where I get roasted, I guess. So I invite you if you want to come and do that. It's very open for everybody in the township to come and outside people will be there from the township, but I'm sorry for your problem, your situation. You shouldn't have to serve with that. Nobody should have to do that like that and stuff. I apologize for it. I hope it gets straightened out and for you and stuff because this township, I've lived in it a long time. I was born out here in it and stuff and, there's a lot of good people out here, more good than there is bad. But there's bad people all over the countryside and stuff like that, neighbors and stuff, and it shouldn't be there. Neighbors should get along together and stuff. Your problem down there on the, parking situation, if you want to get with me, I'll give you some information on some of the stuff, probably why your toilets are not working properly and stuff down there. And, you remember back in the 40s, you had carnivals down there. Yeah, remember? Okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I was a little proud of them down there, carnivals going down there to it. And they had the old school up there and stuff, but there's a lot of history out here in this township and stuff. The fire department went way back into the 30s and they started and there was a bell right where Hutchison and 37 comes right across from the store right now. They had a big bell on a post up there, and when there was a fire come in, they had to ring that bell and notify everybody in the fire department and stuff. And they would show up and go run the vehicles there and stuff, cause they had no truck built yet. They did build a truck there, but I won't go into a lot of that. There's a lot of history out here and stuff.
So do you remember going over on those calls, Larry?
I didn't run that.
Oh, okay.
Nice try.
Anyway, it's, I lived out here for a long time and was born out of here. Grandfather owned a lot of property out here and stuff. When I moved away and graduated in high school and went in the military, come back, then moved back out here. So, I've seen a lot of things going on in the village up here and stuff, and a lot of history of it around here and stuff, and you'd be surprised and stuff. So, not to get into a lot of it here tonight and stuff. If you want to talk about it sometime later, I'll meet with you and tell you some stories. Some good stories too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Okie dokie, that's about it on my part of it and stuff, and nice seeing you all tonight and take care.
Before you go, would you remind them that I want to buy a couple of those stones from station number 1 when they tear it down?
Yeah,
That's not what I thought she was gonna say.
you're talking about sirens. There's one at each station, and the first Saturday in each month at 1 o'clock, they will set them off. They are set off by the radio from Marshall. Dispatch sets them off and stuff, and they'll run for a minute and a half or so with the environment. Those sirens are real old, but if you live close to the houses where this station, number 3 or number 1, you will hear them when they go on off, but away from a distance, you might not hear them and stuff, depending on which way the wind's blowing or it carries the sound, or your house is really built up snug that you won't hear them. But I advise you then to get your little radio, weather radio, and put out there when that storm comes in there, that activates it in the house there and stuff in there. If you listen to it, you can't hear the sirens. But if you live close, you'll hear them. They do go well, but they are activated now from the radio dispatch over the alarm office in Marshall. Years ago, they used to be station, whoever was in the stations would set them off and stuff in there. But so we progressed quite a ways from the past, and sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not. So I'm done.
Thank you, Chief. All right. Next is elected officials and trustees' personal privilege. We'll start with trustee Meinke.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. We got a pretty good crowd tonight. I'm very sorry for what you gotta put up with, and hopefully we can get something going and, put that to a halt. And congratulations on your retirement. Hope you enjoy it.
I was right. 86 years old. I got a lot to do yet.
There you go.
Trustee Blanchard.
Thank you. I did speak with a local resident. There was some concern about speed on Oak Street. She was asking about signage enforcement. And I don't know if we can ask PD to take a run through there occasionally. Apparently they've got some people flying through at excessive speeds. The other suggestion was for a mailer to possibly go out with tax documents, info on the township schedules, how to sign up for the notify, and the new web page. I'm finding when I'm speaking to some of our generationally diverse residents that a lot of them don't feel comfortable interacting with the internet. Was wondering if maybe we couldn't have some volunteers maybe come down and help them get signed up for like e-notify or and then I was actually maybe thinking that Mr. Otten might be able to have resources through the senior ambassadors that could maybe assist them. And that's all I have.
Right, thanks. Trustee Hoskins.
Yes, I would like to say the planning commission, I came to your 3.5 hour meeting last week. Wonderful to see it come to fruition. You guys have done a really good job, a lot of hard work. So thank you. I think we're well with benefit. Again, Chief, thank you for your service, 58 years. That's a very long time. And then make sure we support the Bedford Fire and Pancake Breakfast. Thank you.
Trustee McKay?
Well, everybody's covered a lot of things I want
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah,
But I do want to thank the planning commission, having been recently associated with them and associated with the extensive amount of reading and.
Yeah, you didn't know that, did you?
Yeah, somebody told me about that. But I appreciate the hard work they did. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy.
Yeah.
And I'm also, I'm gonna reflect what trustee Scott over here said. A lot of people don't understand how to navigate our website, and they don't understand that the phone presents the website a lot differently than a laptop or a iPad or something. And it's a different process. So a lot of times if you can't find information that you're looking for, it might be because you're accessing it, especially on a phone. It's very difficult to get to information through the phone. If you have a tablet or a laptop, it's going to be a lot easier. But I know I've gotten several comments about that as well. And Chief, thank you. Thank you.
all right, Treasurer Davis?
Thank you for all the hard work that you put in on the planning commission. I'm sure at times it was tough, but you guys pulled through and, you did a great job on it. Thank you for all your years of service as the fire chief. We appreciate you. And we hope that we'll still see you all the time, Wednesdays.
Yeah, the extra donut tomorrow.
You can have more.
Those donuts are good too.
And thank you everyone for coming.
Clerk Bracco?
I don't even know where to go from here. Chief, thank you for all your service. We will miss you greatly. Maybe a
A
little.
long time. I'm going.
Long time.
So we'll
What?
plan to celebrate with you at the Pancake Breakfast, which is being sponsored by Consumers Energy. So that's the sponsor of the breakfast, so that won't cost anything.
I got three mean daughters that say you better retire, Dad.
Yeah.
Yep, I wonder where they learned it. And then the planning commission. Wow. Well done. Well done, thank you.
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cody was right in there with us. Yes, he was. Excellent.
So they will also be having some tree removal done in the cemetery and Skeet Scarman Park. Because when we cleared it out after the storm, it was just to clear out the dangerous parts. And now we have to go back in and have the trees that are not safe pulled out the rest of the way. We're taking care of the rest of the way. All of the election equipment has been recertified and ready to roll for the November election. Nothing in August, but we'll look forward to November should we have something. And that's it.
All right. I want to thank, excuse me, everyone for coming tonight. We appreciate that, and those who could join us on Zoom. And Chief, you know, I wish you the best in your retirement. I know that we're going to keep you busy, even though you're officially retired. And I know that our younger guys on the fire department are going to hear stories about you forever. So thank you for all you've done.
Yeah, good group of guys on there, and I always have had, they learn quick and, they know what to do when they're, get there, they don't have to be told, and, like I've always said, you have a good group of firemen out here and stuff, and, we have come a long ways from the old trucks that we used to have first started up to the newer ones, and right now we've got two of them out there, they're 22 years old, and they're way overdue should be replaced, but like, what, gotta have money, everything is so expensive anymore, so. We work with them, they all still put out the fires, and, like I say, it's been a long time. And, between my age and my body and my daughters and, I just feel it's time to go, so.
You're leaving a great
But I'll be
legacy.
around to kick some derriere and some, right, so. I don't think I have talked to him much, but, I just hope that the fire department continues to grow and go good name for the residents and stuff out here and stuff, because that's what we're here for, to serve residents and, keep you safe medically wise and try and fire wise and how to lose and things and stuff and save your homes and stuff as much we can to get there in a hurry. It just do what I can when I'm available, and hopefully we keep growing out here and stuff in there. Years ago, the 60s and stuff, we had probably, by the fire department, we had at least up there, each station had about 13, 15 men at station there. Now we're down to 21. The whole department, so. When they join the fire department, they have 240 hours of work to do. And they have to pass that through stage, comes in, gives them tests on that, physically, and on the doing the SCBA's, ladders and tying ropes and things like that, plus a written test they have to have, and that, once they pass that, they get certified, and then they go into medical first responder course for a while. Pass that, and then they're all done, but the first year they're on probation, they cannot do anything but play like a gopher, help get hold, pull it and all things like that, because we cannot use them till they're certified. And some people go partway through it, then just call it quit. They don't like it doing in there. So they think that as soon as you get out of the department, you're gonna drive a truck or something and the red light's going, the siren lights and stuff, and that don't do that. It don't work like that.
Chief, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yes. All right,
58 years.
58 years. Good job.
Help for something, questions, if I can help you out, I can do that. I did a lot of plumbing on the side for many years out in the areas, and I'm way out on the barrel. When I retired from 35 years in Ralston. So.
Well, thank you, Chief. We're gonna go.
Working, so.
We're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to a close, and I am showing 8:18 p.m.